This video covers Excel Module 3, Control Worksheet Calculations. So whenever you change a value in Excel, Excel's going to automatically recalculate all the formulas on the worksheet based on that cell. Okay. So here's what we're going to do here. I am still in my formula documentation worksheet, so I'm going to go back to my NE revenue worksheet. So all you need to do is just go down here to worksheet tab and double click on NA. Either single click or double click, either one will get you there on your NA revenue tab. You just want to make sure this is the active tab. Again, if you want to make sure that you're in the right tab, your active tab will be, in this case, because I'm using the default Excel design, it's going to the active tab is going to be white and green, basically, with green letters. Okay, green fonts. So I'm selecting the NA revenue tab, and now I'm back in my NA revenue worksheet. Okay. All right. Let's see. What I want to do here is I want to click the File tab on the ribbon, and this will get me into my Backstage view. Okay. What I want to do here is I'm going to click on Options, all the way down at the bottom, Formulas. Okay, in my Excel options here. And there are different things you can do here, okay? Generally, we don't usually mess with this with our calculation options. Usually they're set to automatic, okay? Now, what you can do is you can do what's called a manual recalculation, okay? So what we want to do here is we want to click on the manual option button. Okay, so when we select the manual option, the recalculate workbook before saving checkbox automatically becomes active and contains a check mark, because the workbook will not recalculate until you save save or close and reopen the workbook. You have to make sure to recalculate your worksheet before you print it and after you finish making changes. That's one of the reasons why we don't mess with the manual very often, is because we actually physically have to recalculate the workbook. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now I'm going to click on cell B3, and before proceeding, notice that in cell F3, the year revenue for New York is $130,903. Okay, I'm going to type in a different value for cell B3. So right now it's 34,767, right? Now I'm going to type in 3403.05. Now watch cell as I do this. I haven't hit enter yet, but when I hit enter, watch cell F3. You'll see that it doesn't change. Okay. It's one of the reasons why we don't really want this thing to be manual, because we have to make sure that even though I've changed my data, it doesn't update my formula. The output here doesn't change because it didn't do that calculation. I have to do this manually. Okay, not a big fan of that. In general, with Excel, you're better off to just let stuff automatically recalculate instead of it depending on you to recalculate. Let's say I didn't recalculate and I go and I print this out and I hand it to my manager. Okay, our revenue's off now by several $100s. Let's say I said it was 4305 and didn't recalculate. Now our revenue's off by over $30,000. That is a big deal. So in general, when we have reports in Excel, we don't, or when working with Excel, we don't want to depend on manual recalculation. That's usually kind of a bad thing. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to click on the Formulas tab, and then I'm going to click the Calculate Sheet button in the Calculation group. I'm going to click on cell A1, and then save my workbook. Okay. So again, over in the Formulas tab up here. Okay. When I say Calculate Sheet button, what this is going to do is, this is the active sheet, the active worksheet, and it's going to perform the calculations. Once I calculate that, you'll see that my revenue now is adjusted in all the other formulas. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of that. It's great to have this functionality with Excel, but unless you specifically need to manually recalculate, I would let Excel do the calculations automatically for you. Again, what it does is, if anything, practical advice here for when you're in the workforce and you're building out spreadsheets for your boss, for example. You want to make sure this is accurate, and you don't want to have to manually calculate it, or manually calculate your sheet before you print it out, or save it and send it to your supervisor. The reason why is because you get busy, somebody calls you on the phone, and or you have to answer an email, and then you come back, you forget where you're at, you come back, start working on it, you forget to calculate the sheet. Now you have inaccurate information that you've shared to somebody. So that's really bad, especially if they're trying to make business decisions based in part on your findings here in your report. Okay. So anyways, getting a little long-winded there, but that's why we don't usually mess around with how things are calculated in Excel. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and save my workbook. And then I'm going to go back to File, go back to Options. I'm going to go back to Formulas, and I'm going to change it to Automatic. Okay? And click OK. Now I'm going to save my file again. Make sure that that's changed. Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and click on cell A1, and that, my friends, is it for Excel Module 3. I hope you've enjoyed the video series, and as always, if you have questions, let me know and I'll help you out. Thank you.